Frankenstein. Victor Frankenstein, a young scientist from Geneva, was driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge. His curiosity led him to the study of natural philosophy and the mysteries of life and death. Fascinated by the power of science to uncover the secrets of the universe, Victor became obsessed with the idea of creating life. He devoted himself entirely to this pursuit, isolating himself from friends and family, and neglecting his health. After years of relentless study and experimentation, Victor finally discovered the secret to generating life. In a feverish frenzy, he constructed a being from the parts of dead bodies, carefully selecting the features he believed would make his creation perfect. But when the creature finally opened its eyes, Victor was horrified by what he had done. The being was monstrous, with a grotesque appearance that filled Victor with dread and disgust. Unable to bear the sight of his creation, Victor fled, leaving the creature alone and abandoned. Left to fend for itself, the creature wandered through the wilderness, seeking food, shelter, and understanding. However, everywhere it went, it was met with fear, hostility, and violence. The creature soon realized that its monstrous appearance would forever doom it to a life of isolation and misery. Despite its outward form, the creature possessed a mind that was capable of deep thought and emotion. It longed for companionship, love, and acceptance, but found none. Desperate to understand its existence, the creature secretly observed a family living in a small cottage. Through their interactions, it learned about human emotions, kindness, and the bonds of family. The creature became enamored with the idea of becoming part of this family, believing that if it could only show them its true nature, they would accept it despite its appearance. But when the creature finally revealed itself to the family, they were horrified and rejected it in terror. The pain of this rejection was unbearable for the creature, who had so desperately wanted to be loved and accepted. This moment marked a turning point in the creature's life. It began to harbor feelings of deep resentment and hatred toward humanity, and especially toward Victor Frankenstein, its creator, who had brought it into such a cruel world. Haunted by loneliness and consumed by anger, the creature decided to confront Victor Frankenstein. It tracked him down and demanded that Victor create a companion for it, a female creature who would be as monstrous as itself, but who would not judge it based on its appearance. The creature believed that having someone to share its life with would alleviate its suffering and give it a reason to live. Initially, Victor was horrified by the idea of creating another creature. He feared the consequences of unleashing yet another potentially dangerous being into the world. However, the creature's threats and the thought of its misery eventually persuaded Victor to agree. He reluctantly began the work of creating a second being, but as the process advanced, Victor became increasingly disturbed by the implications of his actions. Ultimately, Victor could not bring himself to complete the second creature. He was terrified by the possibility that the two creatures might reproduce, bringing even more suffering into the world. In a moment of panic, Victor destroyed the second creature before it could be brought to life. The creature, witnessing this betrayal, was overcome with rage. It swore vengeance on Victor, promising to make him suffer as it had suffered. The creature's vow of revenge was not an empty threat. It pursued Victor relentlessly, determined to destroy everything he held dear. The creature first targeted Victor's younger brother, William, whom it strangled in a fit of rage. To further torment Victor, the creature framed Justine, a servant in the Frankenstein household, for the murder, leading to her wrongful execution. Victor was devastated by these losses, but he could not bring himself to confess his role in creating the creature and thereby prevent further tragedy. The guilt and horror of what he had unleashed tormented him, but he remained silent, fearing that no one would believe his story. As the creature continued its reign of terror, Victor's health and sanity deteriorated. The creature's ultimate act of revenge came on the day of Victor's wedding to Elizabeth Lavenza, his beloved childhood friend and fiancée. Knowing that Victor cherished Elizabeth above all else, the creature killed her on their wedding night, leaving Victor utterly broken. The creature's revenge was complete, but its own suffering continued, as it remained a being forever isolated and despised. Devastated by the loss of Elizabeth, Victor swore to hunt down and destroy the creature. He pursued it across Europe, driven by a single-minded desire for vengeance. The chase eventually led them into the icy wilderness of the Arctic, where both creator and creation were pushed to the limits of endurance. Victor, weakened by the cold and his relentless pursuit, finally collapsed. He was found by Captain Robert Walton, who was on an expedition to the North Pole. Victor recounted his tragic story to Walton, warning him of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the pursuit of knowledge at any cost. As Victor lay dying, he urged Walton to continue the hunt and destroy the creature, ensuring that it would cause no more harm. After Victor's death, the creature appeared to Walton. It was filled with sorrow and regret, having realized that its revenge had brought it no peace. The creature confessed that it intended to end its own life, ensuring that no trace of its existence would remain. With this final resolution, the creature disappeared into the icy wastes, leaving Walton and his crew to ponder the tragic tale of Victor Frankenstein and the monster he had created.